Good evening, Ryan. It's Monday, and I just wanted to do a little chat about self-care while I'm doing some self-care. I am going to put a face mask on, relax, and we can just have a little chat. I can't wait till I get a tripod. Right now, you're balancing on a bottle of shampoo. So the reason why I wanted to talk about self-care is because very recently I was talking to my therapist. I love my therapist. Her name's Kathleen. I was talking to my therapist about a friend of mine who was having some issues learning how to love themselves. And I was like, I wanted so badly to help them learn how to love themselves because, you know, I love them. And obviously, like, when you're friends with somebody, you want what's best for them. But in the moment, I was just like, I don't know how to love yourself. Like, I know that I love myself and it took a lot of work, but I don't really know how I got here, you know? I talked to my therapist about this. She asked me, well, Christina, how did you start loving yourself? Because, you know, when you came in here, you didn't really love yourself very well. You didn't really take care of yourself. Now I would say you do. I was just like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, it's good to hear that kind of reflection, you know, to think about the progress you've made. And so I was just like, well, I just started to look at the things that I thought were wrong with me and were always going to be wrong with me. And I saw them either as things that I could accept and weren't that bad, really, or as things that were workable. Through working on my flaws, it's been really hard, but it also has been so rewarding. And the act of improving yourself has helped me learn how to love myself. Told this to my therapist, and she said, yeah, that sounds great. Just tell them exactly what you just told me. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't realize that that was what self-care was, that all the growth and the therapy I've been going through and the things I was doing to actively try to improve myself was self-care, you know? I thought of it as like just freaking hard work, you know? And yeah, me and my therapist talked about it more, and it was just like, I just had this realization, you know, that self-care isn't just like taking warm baths and eating good food and like doing a face mask, but it's actually like really looking at yourself, looking at the dark parts of yourself and learning how to either work with them or accept them. And that shit's really hard. And I feel like that's something a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to self-care. I feel like a lot of people talk about, you know, the easy stuff like take a day off or don't work so hard or take a nap, you know, drink a lot of water, which those things are all very important. But I feel like not enough people talk about like the really tough parts about self-care. Like some of the hard parts of self-care is like having that difficult conversation with your friend, being like, hey, I'm worried about you, you know, and setting that boundary or setting boundaries with your friends. Sometimes self-care is looking back at previous mistakes you've made and apologizing. Self-care is realizing all of the negative things that you don't really like about yourself or realizing the things you need to work on and being like, wow, that's pretty messed up that I do that. I need to work on that. Ultimately, everybody's flawed. Like the person that you love the most in the world, that person is extremely flawed. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? I think by actively working on the things that you don't love about yourself and learning to love those things, so ultimately, you know, my journey through self-care has been really difficult. Like I had to start letting go of the perfectionist things that I did that I only held on to because I felt like the only way that I was good enough was through achieving things. I had to realize that a lot of the way that I try to help other people is through trying to control them. I learned that I have a tendency to be codependent. I want to manage other people's emotions in order to help deal with my own. And this was not like, I say it now and it seems very casual, but like realizing these things were really hard and it really hurt. And I'm still learning more about myself every day. It shows how much you really love yourself, you know, if you can love yourself and fully accept yourself as a whole versus just loving the parts of yourself that are easy to love. I think that's the same thing with people. Like if you only love somebody for the good things about them and not about negative things, then the love you have for them is pretty conditional. I do still think it's fun to have bubble baths and take care of yourself, and definitely take breaks, drinks a lot of water. But I think there's a darker side to self-care that a lot of people don't think about, that I'm just thinking about a lot recently. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for bearing with my consistent sweating. It's really hot in here. And before I go, I have to give Ryan a new punishment, because turns out the online dating thing I set Ryan up for has an age limit of like 34 to 44. So yeah, we can't do that punishment. So Ryan, I want you to make an online dating introduction video. I want you to talk about yourself, what you're interested in, who you're interested in, what you're looking for in a partner. Preferably, you could write a song talking about yourself, but you don't have to. But I want you to make this online dating introduction video, and then make an online dating profile and post that video on the profile. What you do after that is up to you, but I can't wait to see your online dating introduction video. Sending you love and light. See you on Friday.